And we're good to go.
All right, so we are live. We will call the meeting to order. Adoption of the agenda. The agenda's got 4 items on it. Mover and seconder. Archie, Angela, all in favor? Okay, we are discussing as the second item, the job posting, which is attached to the agenda in draft. Patrick, I'll turn the floor over to you if you want to give us any additional context for it.
Okay, hello everybody. I created this job posting mostly based on the feedback from the stakeholder surveys and the interviews I held myself with council members. So I mean, what I found was there was a lot of similar comments and commentary and opinions. I wanted to boil it down to something straightforward and simple. So I put it on 2 pages with, with Matthew's help, a little description of the city. And the intent is just to entice people. So it's bait, if you will, get people's attention. This is something that's intended to be advertised and also that we would shoot out an email and through LinkedIn. And so it's really intended to be a summary or highlights of what I felt the key messages were in the stakeholder surveys and the interviews. So I took quite a bit of time to boil it down to what you see there. Many common things that you would always hear: strong leadership, communication, change management, able to lead or spearhead large projects and motivate people and so on. So I tried to incorporate those more general things in there, but there was also many people that specifically commented on the need for the CAO to get involved in helping to resolve difficulties with social issues and the impact of, let's call it drug addiction, perhaps the opioid crisis that all municipalities are experiencing. So the impact on the city that was mentioned quite a few times. So I know there's been some crime there, but it's something that all municipalities are facing. So I didn't want it to be front row center, but I wanted it to be in there, and that's something we would communicate to candidates. So all of these points are derived from the surveys and massaged a little bit. I did use some of the verbiage that I've used in other CAO postings, but very little, just to make sure it flowed well, and all applications would flow to me. This is intended to be advertised on the sites that I mentioned in my proposal, and I'm open to change and any feedback, anything you'd like to add or detract or change, I'm completely open. Yeah.
So is there feedback on things that need to be changed? I'll start with either. Marty?
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. As in here, said earlier about the first paragraph is the most important part, we believe. Qualifications, there's lots of qualifications required, but that's good. I think at a position at this level, you need quite a bit of this. So
yeah, that's like a combination of what you would see, sort of education and career experience. I threw it in with competencies and skills and abilities, just partly to save space, but I think it flows fairly well. I didn't want to have too many headings in there, just to make sure it was concise. Also wanted to comment, some of the people I spoke with were very interested in someone with a municipal background. Others were more broader public sector. But overall, I see it as a group, stakeholders all together. I see it as an opinion such that everyone's open to someone with a public sector background, not a private sector person. So I think whether it's a municipality or another similar organization, I think it all fits in that bucket. Public sector.
Yeah.
I think it's good. There are definitely a lot of qualifications, but like you said, it's a big job. The only thing that I wanted to ask about around this table is situated in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people. Is that right? Or should it say Anishinaabe? I didn't know the answer to that. I just wanted to make sure that it is, my only like one thing, maybe we can.
Yeah,
The
I
answer offhand.
don't, I think I've seen it spelled both ways. So
yeah.
I think you got perhaps this verbiage from our tourism website, Patrick.
Yeah, that was the one that that we talked about. I just took it straight from, yeah, tourism. It was like the top 3 lines. But the acknowledgement was there, yeah.
No, I think that part's great. I just wanted to make sure it was correct.
Yep.
One thing it more of a question to you, Patrick, than anything. You've got as a heading, required knowledge, qualifications, skills, and abilities. And I think
Change that.
the successful candidate will have much of this, but perhaps not all of it. So I wonder if required is the right word.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Desired, perhaps?
Yeah. I should have had desired there, or even just,
Or just.
is desired better? Would that be okay?
Desired, or even just take the word required out. I think the heading works without the word required.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, yeah, that's a good comment. I'll take that out.
Because we don't want someone to say, well, so and so,
I know.
doesn't have the political acuity and social media savvy, and so they're unqualified for the job.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what you're seeing is what most people, or what stood out to me, I suppose, but I recognize, yeah, you don't want people to self-select out if they haven't got an MBA and or whatever, or MPA. So, correct. But I guess if I take that required out, it'll leave it rather open.
For the time frame, I know you had asked me
Yep.
about it, and I just said, but whatever you think is appropriate. I mean,
Hmm.
I had said, does 20 to 25 days make sense? You had said 30 makes the most sense.
I guess, yeah, where I was coming from was I've done this many times, right? And what ends up happening is we've got a posting that has the date on it 2 weeks after we start the search, and then we're still calling people for weeks after that. And so that's why I say 30 days is on average what you pay for at something like Municipal World or the CAMA. So it doesn't matter to me if we just use that posting, or sorry, just use that 30-day posting, and we could put a date on it. I'm often asked for a closing date, especially by public sector candidates, and so I figured 30 days works. And your timeline too, you're looking for a short list and a process to sort of happen, interviews before Christmas. So that's kind of what I was thinking as well. It's possible to use that 30 days, see what we get in that 4 to 6 weeks. And if it looks good, we can move ahead to interviews, ASAP.
Yeah, it works for me. I just wanted to understand the logic behind it.
My logic too is if you say 2 weeks, then people who see that are away for those 2 weeks on vacation, they come back and I'm not going to apply because I missed the date. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but 30 days is what you pay for. So I figured you might as well use it. And sometimes people do think you do get applications, towards the end of the search when you'd think you're not going to get any more. And so in my mind, gut feel 30 days is a good number. But,
Okay.
So, Patrick, did every counselor
Yes.
report back here?
Yeah, it was Sandra I didn't hear from, and then I contacted her earlier this week and I spoke to her. Yeah.
And you went out in the public also? Or
That was a survey. We used SurveyMonkey, like this software that makes it pretty simple, and we got a great response. I don't know if it was every single person, but it was most. Yeah.
Oh, good. That's great.
Yeah, it was really good response and pretty helpful. And I can send you the raw data at some point if you want to look at it. But yeah, I tried to boil it down, and it took some time, but you really see a lot of the same key messages from people. So and you see a few opinions in there. It's kind of interesting. It's all anonymous. You don't know who's saying what, but if you ever want to see that, I can email it to you.
Yeah, so I think it'd be helpful to circulate that to the 3 of us.
Sure, absolutely. So I'll take a required. Anything else?
So is there anything else on the posting? I know we'll talk about the marketing strategy next, but on the posting itself?
Does this stack up? Like, is this a pretty normal kind of, like, does anything about this stand out to you or?
I like, it's what I've been doing. You know, I think when you have a really long drawn out description, like I've used in the past, I don't know if people really read that.
I
You
don't-
could have what they would call an executive briefing document. If you got a C-level search, sometimes, or VP, you've got like a 10-page thing, but I don't want to delay the process. Like, you wanted to move quickly, and that would mean writing this booklet that would have information on the city and finances and org charts and all this. We're happy to do it. We've done it before, but it takes time, and I don't know if it would make any difference. So people tend to do their own research. They'll go to your website. We can talk about other information that I usually ask for, like if you have the strategic plan, financial statements, an org chart, a business plan, just extra information. I usually just send that separately when we get to the you know, the final group that I'm qualifying and screening. And so we could do it that way. I think this is, like I said, it's an enticement, and it's typical of what I do. I've seen shorter, the ones you sent me, I think one of them was 1 page, but it wasn't well written. That was the one that got criticized in the media. And so I was trying to make sure we had something that looked good. And I know Matthew's a lawyer, so you must be able to, you must have good writing skill. So I figured it's got to be written well. And I think succinctness is best. And I believe the key messages are there as well. So I think it's appropriate.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a council meeting Tuesday, where
Okay.
we'll put this on the agenda, not for approval, but for information. But I think in terms of timing of posting it, would you anticipate that it's possible to post Wednesday, subject to hearing from us?
Yeah, definitely. We would post it. I think we included a few postings there for you in our proposal. So the typical ones are Municipal World. I think that's well read by municipal people. CAMA it's another municipal site that it's a membership association for CAOs across Canada. And you know, you can use LinkedIn. I mean, that may draw people from outside the municipal sector. There was lots of interest in people from the broader public sector. And that one in particular, we would only post it on our like our corporate like our LinkedIn page for Feldman Daxon Partners, and then just our our own career site. But you know, if I think of anything else you should do beyond what we included, then I'll let you know. But those are some of the key ones.
Just so we've moved past we're into number 3 on the agenda, just so we're keeping track here. The LinkedIn, the dissemination of it through LinkedIn, I think, seems to be the most popular way to reach people searching for a job these days. So I think that's to be sure that it's on there either through your page, or I don't know if it can be kind of more broadly on there, external to your page.
Yeah, I mean, it's a non-promoted, if you will. The way it works is you post it there, and for whatever you want to pay, $500 to $1 million, you can promote it. And so that shoots it out to people that have, you know, sort of categorized their job search criteria. So that's not included in our proposal. But what I normally do if I'm charging for it is I just do a $500 posting. The problem with it is it does attract a lot of unqualified applicants. So it's hard for me to say how much it's worth it. I mean, we certainly use LinkedIn in our search. We all have LinkedIn, my team, we all have LinkedIn memberships, and we use LinkedIn to directly approach candidates, but it has become kind of an expensive channel to use if you're using their promoted advertising. So what you're getting is a posting. If someone looks at our LinkedIn feed, then they would see it, but it's not promoted. And so we could talk about that further if you wanted to pay for more of a promoted ad.
Perhaps a way we could do it, and tell me if this is even possible, but if after 2 weeks you're not seeing the number of candidates you want to bring in, we could then promote it for the balance of the 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. Makes sense. Yep.
That seem reasonable, in March?
So no newspapers like Globe Mail or Toronto Star.
I haven't used a newspaper for more than 10 years. It's just not a very good use of your money. I wouldn't, the cost would be thousands and thousands of dollars. I think, I don't even know. So I guess when you think about it, LinkedIn's a bargain. We, for municipal searches, we've tended to use these municipal sites, like Municipal World is only at $450 and comma is like 150. So it's cheap and it does get good distribution, but really more for municipal people. And so, I'm doing a search for a president of a small college, the chiropractic college, the Canadian Chiropractic College, and we did use LinkedIn, but I didn't find it to be that useful in that search. And so if you've got something quite specific like we have here, then it is hard to, you tend to use up your budget quickly, and it's pay per click. So your budget gets used up as people click on your ad. So that's kind of that's why I'm shying away from it, but I would agree with you, Matthew. I mean, if we're not getting much, then it makes sense to give it a try.
Okay, I think that's a reasonable approach.
Okay.
Any other feedback on the strategy to get this out?
Given what you see here, like what your post or the job description is, does anybody come to your mind from your contacts? Like, do you have sort of a list going of someone that you contact based on this?
Without telling us.
Without, yeah. We don't.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, there's one particular person that was mentioned by many of the people that I spoke with, and someone I knew before. I've never met that person, but definitely will chase. As far as municipalities go, I just did a CAO search for a small town in Southern Ontario. So we have an active database that we can quickly email people to get the word out rapidly. I don't know if there's a CAO in the province anyway that we haven't got in our database just from the search we just did. And then you've got the next layer down, the directors, commissioners, GMs, people at that just sub CAO. I mean, we don't have all those names, so we have a lot of them. So I've just done the CAO search in one last year. Excuse me. And so a lot of that information is data we have now. Yeah. But it looks like we're going to have to focus on Sault Ste. Marie for candidates that live in the area, and just really all over Ontario. And as we progress, we would go national, looking at cities sort of similar size or slightly smaller. So they have the complexity, the unions, the services, sort of 50,000 population and up perhaps. And, surprisingly, there's not that many of those cities. When you sit down and start calling them, you realize that once you get outside Ontario, it's kind of a small number.
Yeah.
So we quickly cover those. I mean, it takes time to get to that level below the CAO, but we have enough time, I think, to get the word out to a very high number of people.
Okay.
Rapidly.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Would you expect us to put it on our website and through our social media?
I think it makes sense. I mean, usually my clients would post it right at the same time. So it goes on your careers site, perhaps. Yeah. And then anybody in the city might look at that, and my name would be on it. So the applications would flow directly to me. And they'd see our name there and just understand that applications are going to us, not the city. So I think that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure our corporate comms folks can get that up. I'll have you in contact with them directly so that you post it at the same time.
That'd be great. Yep.
And we get a weekly update on the CBC, just not how many approves, how many we receive. Is that possible?
Yeah, I normally give a weekly update. I can just email it to you if you like, and just tell you where we are.
Email it to the mayor and the mayor.
So we're just all three. You've got all three.
Yep, I can send it. And then if you have any questions, we can talk anytime. I'll make sure you have my cell number. You can reach me if anything happens or there's anything I should know. If as I progress, I will attach resumes of candidates that we're screening. Usually it's someone that I've either I want you to know I'm speaking to this person, or I've already spoken with them and I've added them to my my long list, so like my working long list. And as I go through it, I would kind of narrow it down to the people that I'll be presenting to when we get to the end. And so each week you should be getting a little bit of information, any concerns I might have, anything I think you should know, but also just how we're progressing, how many people we're getting. If there's any interest, if there's no interest, then I'll let you know, and so we can change our tactics. But like I said, we're shooting for, say, 5 to 10 people or more, and as closely matched to these qualifications as we can get it. I usually send it Friday or early in the week.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anything else, Ange? Mark? Okay, so we will confirm with you, but tentatively scheduled to go live Wednesday.
Okay,
I'll
and I'll
confirm with you Tuesday evening.
great, and I'll send you a revised copy with required taken off.
I mean, yeah.
It won't be before 9, eh, Patrick?
What?
It
Pardon?
won't be before 9 in the morning, eh? I was trying to meet him before 9 in the morning. He said no. So we're gonna sleep in.
I wasn't sleeping in.
That's okay, Patrick, no problem.
All right,
Yeah, great. I'll send it to you. Thanks a lot.
good. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank
Okay,
you.
have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, motion to adjourn.